Nelly is back.
Nelly Korda is the only player in modern LPGA history who can dominate a season in complete silence. 7 wins in 2024. 2 majors. Olympic gold. More than 100 weeks as world number 1. And yet, if you only watched her body language, you'd never know it. The superstar who behaves like she's trying not to be noticed, while quietly dismantling everyone. But surely, the version of Nelly who looked untouchable in 2024 didn't appear out of nowhere. There must be a reason she plays with that calm and control, right? To understand where that comes from, we have to look at the few moments from her past that actually shaped the player everyone fears today. First, she grew up in a house where excellence wasn't impressive. It was normal. Her dad was a Grand Slam tennis champion. Her mom, a former Olympian. Her siblings, a top-tier LPGA pro and a rising ATP star. Second, she didn't just play junior golf, she aced it. At 14, she qualified for the US Women's Open and made the cut. Not because she overpowered all her opponents, but because she already understood how to stay calm when everyone else was spiraling. And third, none of it made her loud or arrogant. That personality, the quiet face, the steady rhythm, the refusal to react, is what would turn her into golf's most dangerous closer later on. Now that we know the parts of her past that made her who she is, we can get to the part where she starts tearing through professional golf. Turning pro sounds glamorous. For Nelly, it started on the road, in front of small crowds, grinding on the Documentaries Tour in 2016. No leaderboards surrounded by grandstands. Just hot days, long drives, and a quietly ambitious 18-year-old trying to earn an LPGA card. That's where she gets her first professional win, at the Sioux Falls Great Life Challenge. Final round 66. Wins by 3. Moves herself into position to graduate to the LPGA the next season. Most people don't remember that event. But this is where the silent assassin is starting to form. She earns her LPGA card for 2017. But there's still nothing that screams future world number 1, not yet. That part starts when she learns how to close on the biggest tour in the world. Her breakthrough comes in 2018 at the Swinging Skirts LPGA Taiwan Championship. Nelly shoots a final round 68 and wins by 2, finally getting that first LPGA title. That win does 2 things. First, it announces that she's no longer just Jessica Korda's little sister. Second, it makes the Kordas only the 3rd pair of sisters in history to both win on the LPGA Tour. A year later, she goes to Australia and turns a family storyline into a full-blown theme. 21 years earlier, her father Peter had won the Australian Open in tennis. Now, in the same country, Nelly claims the 2019 Australian Open in golf. And with that win, she also cracked the top 10 inches the world rankings. But she was only getting started. In 2021, Nelly doesn't just win, she takes control of the entire conversation. That year, she stacks 4 LPGA victories, including the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, her first major. That PGA title does more than give her a big trophy. It sends her to world number 1 for the first time, making her the first American woman to reach that spot since Stacey Lewis back in 2014. Then she goes to the rescheduled Tokyo Olympics and adds something even more rare: gold. On a brutally hot week in Japan, she wins the women's individual golf event, becoming Olympic champion for Team USA. By the end of 2021, the numbers say she's the best player in the world. But hidden underneath that breakout year is a problem you don't see on scorecards: a body that's quietly starting to fight back. In March 2022, Nelly notices her arms swelling after what she describes as a typical morning workout. Nothing crazy, nothing dramatic. She goes to the doctor as a precaution and ends up in the emergency room. Tests show a blood clot in her arm. Within weeks, she has surgery to remove it. She disappears from leaderboards, not because her swing is off, but because the risk of doing anything too soon is simply too high. For a player whose life has been constant motion and constant improvement, that forced stillness is terrifying. You don't know if you're coming back as the same player. You don't even know how long you'll take to recover. But when she does come back later that year, she doesn't limp into the finish line. She wins again, including defending her title at the Pelican event in Florida and returning to world number 1 by the end of 2022. That's a pattern you'll see again with Nelly. The more her body betrays her, the sharper her mind becomes. 2023 was a quieter year, with injuries slowing her momentum. Still, she stays near the top of the rankings, waiting for the chance to rise again. In 2024, that chance finally comes, and Nelly doesn't just step through it. She blows it wide open and launches one of the most dominant stretches the LPGA has seen in years. It kicks off in Bradenton, right in her hometown, at the LPGA Drive-On Championship. 2 holes left, one last chance. She responds with an eagle, then a birdie, drags the tournament into a playoff, and closes it with a pressure-proof par putt. That was just the spark. What followed was a wildfire. She rattles off 4 straight wins: the Seri Pack Championship, the Ford Championship, the T-Mobile Match Play, and then her crown jewel of the streak, the Chevron Championship, a major. 5 wins in a row, unheard of in the modern era. And she still wasn't done. She stacks on more trophies as the season rolled, ending the year with 7 total victories and the Rolex Player of the Year. She doesn't just return to the top, she resets the bar for what dominance in the LPGA actually looks like. So where does that leave Nelly Korda right now? By late 2025, her resume already looks like this: 2 majors, 7-win season, Olympic gold, over 100 weeks as world number 1, and she's done all that while dealing with a blood clot that required surgery, recurring neck issues, and the mental load of trying to follow up one of the greatest seasons in modern LPGA history. If you're not a hardcore golf nerd, it's easy to miss what makes Nelly's game so dangerous. It's not just that she hits it far, lots of players do. It's the rhythm. Watch her pre-shot routine on a Sunday with the lead, then watch it when she's 3 back on Friday. It's the same tempo, same posture, same expression. Whether the shot is perfect or slightly off. Her driver is a weapon, but not in a reckless way. And week after week in 2025, even without wins, she's still finding ways to stay in the mix almost every time she tees it up. That's what gives her that inevitable feeling. It's not noise. It's pressure steady, controlled, and delivered with almost no visible emotion.